Can you hear me?
Yep.
Did you switch from Outkast to Weezer for me?
Always, buddy. You know I'll look out for you, man.
I feel like Outkast is more like on point for who I am, though.
Not the Outkast I was playing. Maybe if I was playing if I was playing Miss Jackson or that that song Roses, But I was playing some deep cuts, so I feel like you're more of a Hey Ya Outkast guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shake it like a Polaroid picture over there,
Yeah.
All right.
If it's not on now, that's what I call music. Then it's beyond my hip hop reach.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring. All right, here we go.
JoJo, leave, get out. That's hardcore hip hop for me.
Absolutely. I know. All right. Here we go. Hey, welcome to the Black Out Test podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we're live on Juneteenth, the second celebration of Juneteenth. You may know it as July 4th. And we're not alone. We have a guest, friend of the show, friend in real life, comedian, actor, writer, and former lawyer, JL Cauvin.
Yes, former and probably future lawyer, but currently full-time comedian. This will show how ain't shit my fans are. When it's like, I got a new album and I lost my job. So if there's ever been a time to throw down $6 to $10, it's now. And I know I'm just going to see the final tally and be like, 13 people, huh? 13 fans, 200,000 followers. I will start to turn into John Bernthal at that. 13 fans, 13 fans. I made millions of people laugh. So we'll see. But yeah,
I feel like this is the time to wrap the arms around you. I feel like the loss of a job is normally like a clarion call to the fan base. I remember when I lost my job, that was how we got started on our premium, was enough people signed up for us to be able to be like, oh, this is viable, we can grow this into something. But I feel like, and I think you've said this before, this is the cost, the karmic debt of finally we have breaking news that there's a expectation that Half Blackface is actually going to see the light of day at some point.
Right. What? And let me just tell you what happened in the 2 weeks after I got a date for Half Blackface, because people need to start realizing the JL jinx might need to be studied by scientists. I lost my job 3 days after, I got a date, August 25th. Affirmative action ended.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we're talking. This is the scope of the balance in the universe for me to have any kind of success with this special. It's Half Blackface in particular because it's so good that it's like, no, this could actually help him become a full-time successful comedian. This can't it's like one of those. I feel like I'm in a time travel movie where it's like the Terminator realizes if Half Blackface comes out, world peace will occur or something. And so it's like, we cannot allow that to happen, or else, and here's the good news. I'm gonna spill some Patreon tea.
Oh shit.
I got an email on the second day of Tallboy being #1 on the comedy charts, from the people, quote unquote, producing Half Blackface, if you want to call this producing, because I don't see much production in 2 fucking years. So he wrote to me and said, I was surprised to see you have a new album out. I wish I had had a heads up. I am thinking we might need to push back the release of Half Blackface, the album version. And I wrote, like, because he's afraid of Sirius XM, which is obviously streaming royalties, a good source of money on albums. So I just wrote back, most of my fans for the last 21 months have been hearing how proud I am of this set. So whoever's going to buy it, stream it, etc., is going to be there. As far as SiriusXM, there's no overlap in material. I don't know what you think I'm doing. I'm not doing a Taylor Swift where I'm like, even though extra T, somebody told me that I should consider recording the set again. But I wrote back, so I don't see any issue. And the response I got was, okay, well, I'm going to have to think about this. That's interesting because I don't have to think about it. I might have to think about what lawyer I seek out if there's any more delays on this. It's like, it's one of those things. First of all, the frustrating thing here is I'm a good enough comedian that every 2 years I can put out some kind of product that I can be proud of. Did you think I was waiting like in mourning? Like, did you think like this is the 1800s and I'm a wife whose husband died and I have to wear black for the next 5 years to show proper mourning for the loss? Like, I'm going to keep being a comedian. I kept making jokes about the special, like, oh, I wonder if my second one will be my first. That was a joke. Right. I didn't actually think that would happen. So that was just a joke, like, wouldn't that be crazy? Well, you know what? If you wait 22 plus months to have an album come out, it is possible that a prolific comedian might have another project. And why in God's name would I delay the work of some people and myself, like for a thing that I still don't, like, in other words, I didn't think it would take this long for it to come out. So I wasn't like, oh, watch what I do when I drop this new, but I wasn't going to delay it. I wasn't going to like, hey, tall boy, you need to wait your turn. It is your turn, tall boy, because you're ready. Like, everyone did their job on the production side of Tall Boy, so it got out on time like it was supposed to. It feels weird to I guess my question is the logic if it comes out later, even later than it was supposed, like if it comes out 3 months from now and it's been a full 2 years since you recorded that set, is he expecting a boom then? Is there a windfall coming because everybody's now there's been 3 months? I think what he's nervous about, if you can call it that, because obviously he doesn't seem too anxious about like, I can't impress upon people enough. Comedy specials shouldn't take the same amount of time as a fucking Avatar sequel. Like, like, you know what I mean? Like this, so it's this like shock. It's like the lack of awareness, the lack of like self-awareness. I'm like, you do know you butchered 2 tapings. Like you messed up 2 tapings. The reason the edit took a long time on Half Blackface, the second one, I don't think people really give a shit about it, but one of the reasons was the main camera for the second straight shot was not usable. Like at that point, I have been shown no professional courtesy, no respect, no anything. So I owe you, I'm going to promote the shit out of it because I'm proud of it. But like I said I think on a Patreon podcast, I said, what I ask fans to do is, Half Blackface matters to me because of the work, not to sound too pretentious, that special twice. And they're like 2 different sets because I dropped some stuff because it was like 7 months apart. And I had this like 2 killer bits that I wanted to get into the second taping. I want that out. I don't even care about money from that. My real goal with that originally was like, if this can come out when I'm on Billions, this is so good. This is so my best work that, you know, I heard Karen make her joke about me quitting on the recap episode. But that was like, in all genuine seriousness, that was the moment where I was like, this is it. I have no guarantee that this will work. But I've never gone out for any acting shows, but I ended up by luck on a hit, like having a nice little role on a hit TV show. And I've done a lot of good albums, and I could probably rank them for people, but that first set of Half Blackface was like the single most electrifying show of my life. It was, the crowd deserves as much credit as I do, because I think the material alone on the second taping, I prefer. Like, I prefer that set, but the crowd was an A+ on the first set, and they were like an A-, B+ on the second one. So their energy like heightened a great set. So that was like for all my moping and negativity, the reason this has hurt so much is that was a real opportunity. Like, like you can't guarantee it, but what I can guarantee is if the special comes out 17 months after I'm on Billions, it loses that effect. Like that, I do know.
It's weird. It's weird that this is the time that they choose to be picky, you know, like of all the other times to have been like extremely proactive and detailed and productive. It's like, this is the time where they're like, well, maybe now is the time I take over. And also it does show like a lack of attention just to you in general, because I think a cursory amount of research, even just asking a question, they'd be like, oh, this isn't even the same material. Like, it's just, you know, like, if you just
what do you think? Like, what do you think of me as a comedian that you think I'm like, what, just doing reruns with a couple new bits? Like, I don't do that.
You know, in all fairness, there are comedians that do that shit, you know, but I just think even just asking you a question, like, even if you're not, you know, detailed enough to like check out the podcast or go listen to the new special,
right?
God forbid. It seems like a really easy ask to be like, hey, is this gonna overlap material? And then you just be like, no, and it's like, okay, cool, we'll get this thing out as soon as possible. Right. But damn, man,
the comedy business is like, in an odd way, it's the sloppiest business on earth, but it's also the most cutthroat, we don't give a shit about you at all business. It's like the worst of both. It's like, we suck. One of the reasons we're in comedy is because it's like a low barrier to entry. Like, we can't hack it in the real fucking corporate world. So we're going to leech off of fucking desperate artists and like try to get nickels and dimes off of 50 albums. And all of a sudden we're richer than all the mid-level talent we represent. But on the other hand, we could give a fuck about your artistry, your work, your anything. Like, could not care. Like, couldn't give a shit.
It seems like where it would be nice for the industry to be professional is when it tries to act like it's just a personal friendship business.
Oh, that's what I was saying. If you talk to somebody, it's a, hey, you know, I got these credits and I've done this. Well, you know, it's about building relationships also. Like, come hang out at the club, come maybe do some free spots. And then like, you think you're best friends with the club and they're like, well, yeah, I mean, you know, it is a business after all.
Where it would be nice for it to be professional, that's when they lean on the personal, and where it would be nice for it to be personal, that's when they go back to the professional cutthroat bullshit.
Yeah.
And people keep getting fucked. Go ahead, Karen.
And what's so frustrating about it is that, how can I say this? Comedians are kind of all over the place. And you have a lot of comedians that care, that want to make money and shit like that. Then you have a lot of comedians go, well, I'll do whatever it takes to be on stage. Because you actually need to unionize, like, I'll decide and like demand, like, hey, if I start, this is the bare minimum I ought to be able to make. I shouldn't have to do bringers. I shouldn't have to bring fucking family and friends. I don't want goddamn drink tickets. I want to get paid. You know what I'm saying? Like, things like that. But too many comedians are like, whatever it takes to get on stage. So when people make these demands, you have people that just flat undercut everything that they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
No, as I've said before, I said you can't unionize when the median level of integrity is union busting scab. like the average comedian's integrity is, I'll cross the picket line. Fuck them. Average comedian is, I'm gonna get like, and it's worse now because there's a disconnect when you look at social media, and especially, I mean, TikTok has supercharged this mentality. All credit to TikTok for changing the game, but like it has supercharged this mentality where you don't have to, like, you have dudes who will do like 2 years of shitty shows and think like, I'm 27, man, I've been grinding at this.
Yeah.
and because they see a friend blowing up on TikTok. So to them,
right.
like, getting in a large following is the priority. It's no longer becoming, and I always joke, I say, I don't want to be pretentious and be like, I'm an artist, but I am. Mm-hmm. And I care. I come from that. I want to be great. And my faith is that the money to some extent will follow.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whereas now people are like, what's the algorithm want? Like, what is that? I'm going to adjust how I write, how I approach comedy. If painters did that, if book writers, I'm sure book writers do this, but like, if imagine the shittiness of art in general, if everybody was always, if every musician had the attitude of like a commercial jingle writer. We need those. We need commercial jingles. But if everybody was just like, I think Chevy might like this in their commercial, that's how you're writing your albums?
I think also, to me, the algorithm of social media is the new like late night. Like back in the 90s and 2000s, 2010s, everybody was chasing like the late night set. I got to get my 10 minutes. I got to get my late night, get on late night. It's going to change the game, and now it's like crowd work on TikTok. It's like, hey, this shit got 12 million views. I got to chase that now. It's almost ironic how insulted people get by the idea of AI art, when so many people are trying to create their version of like an artificial art that's not really real.
Right.
Perfectly said.
And sometimes, because it's a balance when it comes to like the TikToks and like the Twitter sphere and all that stuff, because you have comedians that are comedians, but when it comes to TikTok, that's a different muscle. I don't think people understand that. It's a different muscle. And then you have people that are really great on there, but some of them are not great comedians.
Right. Yeah.
And so you have an industry, like you say, that rewards this social media presence when not, and then they get these specials and things like that. And some of them do great, and then some of them flat are terrible.
Well, also is what you're being pushed towards too. Like one of the big things that is starting to die down just a little bit, but one of the big things during our time has just been every comedian needs a podcast.
Right.
Like, and you could like tell when someone has like a big name, but they just got told like, you need to do a podcast because they could give a shit, like audio's terrible. They're not paying attention. There's no real point. It's just like, I need to put out 30 minutes of content every week because my manager told me that this is the fucking thing. And because like, say Bill Burr does that, now every comedian got to do some version of 30 minutes of bullshit every week, whether they give a fuck or not, and it dilutes like what podcasting could be, and it separates, I think, the good from the bad, but it puts a lot of fucking like shape. It puts a lot of just shit in the mix and I think stand-ups like that too, because and I'm not knocking these folks. I really am not. Like some of these motherfuckers could be hilarious, but I don't see a crowd work clip and think, oh man, I gotta be there for that comedian. Mostly I think like they could be funny.
Yeah.
But who fucking knows? Like that could be a once in a blue moon. It just linked up right. The crowd work went right that time and they don't have any fucking material. Like, I don't know.
And I think we don't have to get too deep in the weeds, but it's the industry is, like with Righteous Prick, which is going to be known under a new name, but that I'm going to record 2 episodes tomorrow. And I'm trying to find the balance of, I decided if I'm still doing comedy until Half Blackface comes out, until I can see what that can do for me, if anything, I said, Righteous Prick is at a ceiling. I like just rambling and complaining, and sometimes they're great episodes. Sometimes it's people get to know me and they're not that funny, but whatever. But I decided, I made a conscious decision, like, okay, I'm going to I'm going to play the game. And I talked to Mike, who's going to be producing it, who was like the original producer for Making Podcasts Great Again. And we were in the same headspace, which is why I feel comfortable with him, which is like, he's like a podcast producing guy. Like he's legit. Like he's produced, his biggest podcast is Guys We Fucked. That was like, he's like their producer. He was producing for some big networks and stuff. And he knows this business. And he even said, I got to adjust. I got into podcasts, not because I wanted to do video content, like podcasts. Right, that's like saying I got into radio because I wanted to do TV. It's like, what? It's not this. But now,
dude, a podcast now is like, it can be only on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a podcast now can literally be like, you can't actually find this on any podcast app.
Right.
You can find this on YouTube exclusively, and it's video only, and you need to be watching because there's all kinds of shit that goes with this.
Right.
It's not what it used to be.
No, and I think, how can I say this? It's very frustrating as somebody who loves podcasts and listen to podcasts. I go, it's not a podcast. You're on YouTube. Podcast needs to be on a fucking podcast app.
Yeah, I think, but see, that's the thing, right? I'm less rigid, I think, than y'all are. I'm like, well, then that's what it is now. Like, it's just
what I was gonna say is that's the thing me and Mike had to come to grips with, and I said,
yeah.
And you know, I'm the most stubborn asshole in the game. Like my motto should be like, I will die on all these hills.
Yeah.
Every single one of them, just pick one.
Every hill.
Right. Great.
Is that a hill? I'm gonna die on it. But we both agreed. I said, but if I'm doing this, the game has changed. Right. Now, for me, the video component is twofold. One is to maybe, you know, I have a decent subscriber list on my YouTube channel, so if I can upload the full episodes there, hey, maybe that's a little extra money there. But making the clips for TikTok, for Instagram is an advertisement. I still want people to listen to it because that's what it is, but like those are ads. And he said to me, which I found funny, because we recorded an episode last week and we scrapped it because I was like not good enough yet. I kept like leaning away from the mic and talking to him, and I needed to, you know what I mean? So it was a good learning experience for what we're trying to do. But I have to be very mindful. Like, he called me a hot take machine. And I said, yeah, that's fair. Like, as long as it's organic, like I don't want to change and to the point where I go, all right, give me 5 top trans athletes. Let's do it. Let's like, I want to mock some of these influencers and stuff.
Right.
And, but at the same time, like I was doing a thing on Jokic, and that's probably going to be the first episode where I was saying, don't you think this dude might be on the spectrum? Like when a dude says, parade, I want to go home to horses, I kind of go, okay. And if he's like high on the spectrum, at what point does that become like a performance enhancing drug? Like he's so focused. He's not distracted like other people. At what point do we start testing for Asperger's and say like Jokic, like I don't know if he can play. He might have to be, you know, tested. And we just say like, and I was going, this is funny. And this is kind of just how I think, Joe. But at the same time, I wanted to be like, I don't want to become inorganically like, will me saying Jokic is on the spectrum, will that be hot? Will that be hot?
Yeah.
Like,
it's tough, and it's tough to like because you don't want to be just a contrarian, because there's so many people that are just contrarians, and to me that's not a talent, really. You know, which is like the majority of people believe this, but not your boy. Like, all right, but at the same time, like if you can organically find that spot and keep it funny, that works. And then you're gonna also have to be cognizant of camera. Like that's the thing with like again, no problem, man. I know it's probably, you know, the local politicians calling. Listen, we need some money. The thing I was gonna say is like, I know with game theory, that was the big struggle, is how do you get Bo to be comfortable on camera, as comfortable as he is just talking. And it's and the amount of work that goes into it is the part that people never see. Like like it's just so much fucking work to get to normal. You know what I'm saying? So when you just doing that in a room with a webcam or your producer is in there, and you got to remember, like, I'm talking, but I'm talking to this. I'm not talking to him. He's saying things back to me. I shouldn't even make eye contact with him.
Correct.
Like that kind of shit. So yeah, I can't wait to see what you do with it.
And the first thing I told him was, he said, "Do you want to sit in the chairs? You know, like that kind of chill." And I said, "That ain't me. I'm at the desk. I'm lecturing motherfuckers." Like,
they got to hear what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know me enough that, like, me in a chair would just be like, so yeah, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
The mindset is, dude, leaning on the table.
You gonna wear a suit and tie? You gonna wear glasses?
Yeah, that'd be funny. It's too hot right now for that. I hate to be that not committed enough, but I'm going in like shorts and a t-shirt, and I'm like, can I come in a tank top? It's disgusting. I mean, it's disgusting everywhere, but it's disgusting in like New York right now. But yeah, so basically, before we get on with like the core of the show, Tall Boy, it's available for purchase.
And how's it doing on the Apple charts? How's it doing?
It spent 3 days at number 1.
Okay.
So that's good. I obviously won't know for months how good that was. But yeah, basically, I think the thing goes, if you can buy it, buy it. If you don't want to buy it, I think downloading it is better than just streaming it. But whatever people want to do, consuming it and reviewing it wherever you listen is huge. But that's like the poverty plea. Like, I lost my job, so if you want to support what I do, I hate. People ask me that all through the pandemic, and they were like, "Hey, where can I donate to support?" And I'm like, "Donate?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a comedian. I still don't get that aspect. But that's another change, that people look to this stuff as like, I tip you now, and I'm like, I remember saying to somebody, like, buy my album. Like, and the guy said, well, I'm not really. I go, okay, but look at it this way. If you buy my album, I get money. If you don't listen to the album, it's a donation. If you listen to the album, maybe I convert you into a fan. It's like, if you want to spend $10 on me, it makes no sense to be like, can I Venmo you $10? No. Like, what? I mean,
feel like I don't need to know. So buy the album and don't tell me you didn't listen. Now you just look like an asshole to me. I know you're trying to help, but you actually look like a jerk. Like, when you're like, I would buy the album. I'd rather just give you money. It's like, nah, go ahead and buy the album. Well, I'm not gonna listen, man. Fuck you.
I genuinely, I'm the worst type of personality for this shit. Like, I don't roll with this because I find it so weird and like, wait, you like my comedy? And that's why I sometimes post jokes where I'm like, I've got a lot of fans, but they're not so much into the stand-up comedy, podcasts, videos, blogs, live performance kind of fans.
I support you. I might not support your work, but I support you.
Right. Like, if I pass away, they'll tweet something about me, I guess. Is that what that means?
Man, love this guy. Not his stand-up, not his, I told him I used to punch his jokes down whenever he would tweet something.
And that is, I have screenshot the one I sent to you yesterday.
Yeah.
That is going to be a weekly segment, the punch down of the week, which is just going to be the fan that goes, actually, my favorite, the first one, a spoiler for everybody, the first one has to be when I said, not to be outdone by Ron DeSantis announcing on Twitter, Mike Pence is announcing his presidential run on Grindr. And then a dude commented and said, he's announcing it on Christian Mingle. Sir, this is one of those things, like, if I guess,
boo.
Yeah, it's like, if I just nailed it, like, I just 10 out of 10, moving on to the next joke. Like, what you just did was a soft, not that funny version of what I just did. Like, and it's very obvious. It's very obvious that you have just done the softer, worse version of what I already did.
JL, that's the bar is low. They like just kills them at the water cooler. You're like, oh,
well, this is the bane of my existence too. And I'm a nice person on social media, so I actually just take a screenshot, send it to JL, and be like, look at this motherfucker.
And that's what I've been. That's the growth on my part. I'm being cruel to these people behind their backs.
Their face. Yeah. Because I mean, I think the same things that JL is thinking. I'm like, but where is this gonna? Like, I take the full path down. Like, now where is this gonna get me? Because I'm okay. I correct this asshole. They're never gonna take it well, right? They don't realize they've insulted me and my joke. So they're gonna take it like I'm trying to help, and this guy's a jerk, and he turned on me, and it's like I want to be like, bro, it's hard to be funny. I thought about this shit before I said it a lot, like it was a lot of different angles I covered, and you're probably just touching the angle I covered and said that's not funny enough, and you're serving it to me like it's caviar, like, oh buddy, wait till you hear this one. Christian mingle. It's like, oh, fuck you, man. You don't care. Get out of my face. But yeah, I send them to JL now. I made a joke that because JL has this great sketch. I showed it to everybody at Game Theory at one time. With the dunk reaction school.
Oh, nice. Thanks.
All the people that how to react to like a nasty jam. And it's an old school sketch, but I know you don't do those type of sketches. You haven't in a while.
I'm trying to.
But I was like, yeah, I was like a punch down class or something. Because these motherfuckers, you could use the real stuff they do, and it's just like deconstruct. Like, this is why that's not as funny as what was on there, you know.
And it's sometimes though they're so. Like Christian Mingle is such a good example because it's like, what do you do? Like that sounds more like closer to the truth. Like that's just kind of like, yeah, maybe Mike Pence like would do a thing on Christian Mingle for real, like to reach out to Christian singles to like rally them to his campaign. He wouldn't do it on Grindr, like.
Right.
That's the point.
Oh, yeah, man. It's hard out there. But I also love when I get tips on impressions. Somebody be like, "That is an amazing impression. You just need to bop 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 bop." And I will write back to those and go, "So not really amazing then."
Right. Thanks for the compliment.
If you have these critiques of it, I'd like it. And sometimes I just disagree with them, but impressions, I like doing them, but I wish I hadn't blown up from impressions, because impressions, you can have sophisticated comedy fans who like impressions, but you can also have a lot of simpletons. And I've seen it.
Also, I'd say too, with everything being as polarized as it is now, with you having political impressions, you get people, I don't understand these people, but you get people who like the politician that you're making fun of more than they would like to laugh at you're coming to the comedy club, essentially watching a man do impressions, the virtual comedy club of online. It's not like people are like, JL Cauvin does the best serious impressions of these people we've ever seen. There's a level of comedy to it that's so funny. And to come to that and be like, this motherfucker laughing? Nah, man, fuck you. You not funny. That's why don't nobody know who you are as I'm on your channel leaving comments.
And before, and I will finish the plug for Tall Boy because Thursday night is a big night for it. But that's like when I post the TikTok of the bit, like the shortened version of the bit about the GOP being America's deadbeat dads, there's going to be a lot of hurt feelings in my mentions on that one. And what I said to my brother today, actually, I said the space I've carved out may have been a great space 20 years ago, but what I am basically is the left of center comedian who employs right of center comedy aggressiveness. And there's not a lot out there doing that. Like, in other words, I'll turn off some of my own political people because they'll be, well, he's very mean. It's your whole thing about they don't want people to go low. They say that,
No,
but
they
then
don't want
they
that.
complain when people go low.
They want to feel like good people. They want to feel like a hero for laughing.
And they want, and I'm only using this because I remember his special viscerally, but like W. Kamau Bell had a special, like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years ago on Netflix. And it was very much heavy on the clapter. It was kind of like all the stuff, if you're ever on social media, you kind of know these jokes and know what was going on. Like, and it was like, yes. And then the flip side is the right. If you're not hurting somebody's feelings or tearing down like a community, are you even doing comedy, bro? And to me, I go, oh, okay. Well, I'm a real ass comedian that's not interested in playing nice and preserving. I don't go to try to hurt people's feelings. But I've had so many of these dudes. It's a 23-second joke where I say basically Donald Trump is the stripper pole for broken white men. And the anger, these people, it's like they're bullies who've never been comedically punched in the face. They think everybody on the left, when you're hurt feelings, it's because you're a pussy and soft. When our feelings are hurt, it's actually because we are tough, patriot, strong men. And you're wrong. It's not that I'm fucking a soft pussy. It's because you're wrong, bro.
Cancel culture is wrong.
Comedy.
Cancel culture is wrong and what the liberals do, but also we're going to try to erase you off the face of the internet and destroy you.
And it's to me, like, I can't wait for that deadbeat dad joke to beat because you have people through, it's a 23-second TikTok going, this dude's comedy is terrible. From one joke, you literally got one joke in a 20-year career. You've written me off. That's how hurt you are. That's how true this shit is. Because I get annoyed with plenty of left-wing people in the comedy space. Hey, that's not, like, I made a joke about Bobby Kennedy Jr. Do I really think it's cool to make fun of people who like have illnesses? No. But fuck that dude when I'm on stage or writing a tweet. Like, I don't wish bad things on him. I wish his voice was normal. But I said he sounds like.
Oh, is that why he sound like that?
I said he sounds like he's choking on his own bullshit when he talks. People loved it, but a few people were like, "It's actually an illness," and I didn't even bother. But I was gonna be like, "I know it is, but guess what? You stay out of the fight then." I don't have an agenda with my comedy, but I'm also not going to do hey, only making fun of trans kids is like hardcore humor. No, fuck everybody.
It's weird because like all the fucking right-wing stand-up special promos, they're the same now. Someone's gonna do a mocking one of those, by the way, and I can't. Okay, I
might as well, right? Like, I think I should just.
I can't fucking wait.
They're all flags
because they're all
red, white, and blue.
It's not just that, but it's all like
diversity. Have you seen the Rob Schneider clips?
Yeah, him, Roseanne.
Motherfuckers sat and watched this has-been because it's not about the comedy.
It's their clapter
agenda.
It's their clapter.
Yes, it's like
clapter's not
Delta said they want to focus on diversity. Okay, is that all they said? And the thing is, the people in that crowd want to believe that Delta's like, we don't even care if you can fly. Black woman, get up there, soul plane. It's gonna be soul plane.
They're just pulling black people off the street and shit.
Right.
Who want to fly a plane?
The trans jokes, like. And I say this as a comedian, not as somebody who wants to be supportive or on the right side of history.
Right.
How about, now I'm going to toot my own horn. I have a bit on Israeli Tortoise called Transroids. Now that bit was about these memes when the bathroom bills, the Charlotte bathroom, the North Carolina bathroom bill. And some of the memes going around were of like very muscular bodybuilding trans men. Like they had been women. And the meme said, do you really want these men in your women's bathrooms? Like trying to illustrate the point. Like you haven't thought this through with your bigotry. Like I'd be more comfortable with that person in a men's bathroom. They're like alpha men. They're not just like identify as men. These look like bodybuilders. So my joke was basically like, but we're giving them a pass on the steroids. Because I was like, because they're juicing, right? Like, let's support identity, all that, but they're on steroids. This isn't just doctor prescribed hormonal treatments.
Right.
And I said, so the joke was like, so is that all it takes? Like, you get a pass if you're trans, you get a roid pass? Because like, I got some great news for Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds if they want to get in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
You can flip this whole narrative with one surgery.
Right.
So that's not me mocking like trans people. That's me almost mocking the progressive, unthinking support of it. And most of these guys, like I saw Bill Burr in New Jersey, and he had Andrew Dice Clay open for him, like was one of his openers. And the trans jokes, and I don't say this like in the way that, when people say like Adam Carolla, he was never funny. Stop. Right. You just stop. Like, you don't have to agree with him. You cannot I don't like where he's at now.
Right. But he used to be hilarious.
Why are we lying on him with you were never, he is hilarious. He was hilarious. Exactly. There's other reasons to differ, but you don't have to do a lie. And with these trans jokes, it's not me being like, I don't agree with this, so I'm going to say they're not funny. Almost all of them are not funny. It's like they're almost out of a factory.
This is my issue with the Chappelle stuff was not the first special, but like by the time he got to like 3 in or whatever, they were street jokes. Like they weren't they weren't sophisticated jokes. They weren't proving some deeper point. They like it was just completely like it's funny to talk about trans people's genitalia and hitting them and beating up gay people and shit. And it's like, it's not for me personally. Someone gets on stage, my sensibilities about agreement and disagreement go away. That's just the way it's always been my whole life with entertainment. Sure. Same thing with music, whatever the fuck. It's like I was listening to fucking Doggy Style and being like, and that's how you treat a woman. Like, it's like, well, clearly that's Snoop Dogg fucking saying pimp shit. I don't want to live like that, but it's cool to listen to, right? And I treat comedy the same way. But there's a level of like craft to a good joke, whether you agree or disagree, that you can, if you love comedy, you can recognize craft where you're like, oh, that's how he flipped that. That's how he switched it at the end. Oh, that's how he set up a punchline from earlier and came back and all that shit. The craft was gone. And I think with a lot of these right-wing specials, even in the promo, the craft is gone. Like, it's very much like what a random person on Twitter would say.
Yes.
And it's just like, you should want to be better than that. Even if you're just like, listen, I'm a bigot and I would really like to make fun of black people being pilots. There has to be a better fucking way than just like that simple ass bullshit based in no actual reality. That's really just to get conservative clapter.
But
that's
they don't, and just like the hypocrisy, they don't view conservative clapter as clapter.
Right.
Like it's only when left-wing people get clapter or get hurt, they're soft. They're tearing the country apart. Well, when we do it, it's actually like the right kind of clapter.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And I know, like, I would never order a Fox Nation thing, but I remember when Carolla they were doing ads for him and I laughed at a couple of jokes in the preview. Like I wasn't sitting there like, this is I was like, oh, that is funny. I'm just not looking to support that entity. Like I'm not looking. If that shit was free on YouTube, I'd probably watch it to see
check it out.
It's good. But,
now I watch a comedian I don't agree with. That's never been a thing for me. But it's the most of the problem is just whether or not the jokes are lazy. Like it's just I feel like the polarization of politics made people's work less good. Like it's just like I don't have to be as good at coming up with something that's gonna make everyone laugh or get people on my side. Even like I walk in, the fact you bought a ticket is you're on my side. So I don't even need to do the work of like being likable or constructing an argument. Like it's just like the good ones still do it, but like a lot of people, you can tell they dropped all that pretense and they're just like, you're on my side, you're here. So anyway, trans people, right? And everybody's like, he about to do it. And it's not organic anymore.
And Dice Clay, he did this thing at the end after like making fun of them in a generic way. I'm actually a boy now. Although I did chuckle when he said, what if it's low brow, but in the moment, the way he said it in his he said, boy walked up and said, I want some tits. And I laughed because that was absurd, because obviously nobody said that.
Yeah. Nobody.
But then he ended it with why can't we just let kids be kids? And it's like, yes. Yes, that covers up all the hate and the shaming.
Right.
Like, that's it. We just want kids to be. We're not. That's all we want. Whereas, not to get off topic, but like the stuff with Dylan.
That shit in the platitudes to back when we used to be blank, and it's never really that we were ever whatever. Like, it's always like, why can't we go back to when I was growing up and everybody just knew this? And it's like, well, guys, it was never like that.
Right. That was an illusion.
Yeah, there was never a fucking time with there was just a time where maybe the black people didn't live in your neighborhood, so you didn't worry about when a kid got shot across town because it wasn't your part of town, so fuck them. And there was no social media, so you didn't have to worry about that shit. So it's just romanticizing some bullshit. But yeah, it's super dismissive. Tell everybody about Tallboy, though. You said Thursday.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry for all the meandering. So obviously, if you can stream it or download it or buy it, greatly appreciated. Wherever you listen, wherever you listen to music. But Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, like this Thursday, the 6th, I will make the special public. It's been behind the paywall for like a little over a month, I think, but it'll be made public. And I think the way the algorithm works is like the more likes, subscribers, and views, that I'll get in that first 24, 36 hour period, it will help. But like, in other words, it got 50,000 views in the first day. Well, now it's going to be like higher in a like recommended and rotation. Whereas if it gets like 800 views in the first day, then it's just going to like fall to the bottom of the ocean. Sorry, no disrespect to the submersible, but
yeah, in peace.
It's so basically, if you can show some support and download it if you already have, and I know plenty of your fans have already done so. But if money's tight, or it's still watching the special like Thursday night or Friday morning or Friday during the day and subscribing to my main channel, that is support also. That is not nothing, and that's what I try. I don't think most of my fans care. They don't know, they don't show, or they just don't care what's going on in JL's comedy career.
Right.
But the I'll get like 80,000 views once in a blue moon now. That used to be normal, but on Twitter, I'm like, if every one of those views was just a YouTube view,
right,
that's like $350.
Right.
Whereas like Twitter, it's $0. And you try to say like, hey guys, if you like my stuff, it's like, it costs you nothing extra. Even if you're not a subscriber, you don't even have to be a subscriber. It helps if you are. But so I keep trying to just like, obviously buying stuff and buying show tickets and all that is like the highest level of support. But like there's a lot of free stuff that in the aggregate also pays out. And you try to impress that upon people like, hey, I don't know your finances. I don't know your level of interest. But if you like what I do, there's free ways that can make me money.
Right. Just trying to meet you halfway.
No, I prefer comics not making money. I think if you'll be a better artist if you're starving.
Also, like being at the whims of Twitter and social media is just no way to live these days, man. Like Elon Musk, like just breaks Twitter over the weekend because he won't pay his fucking server bill, and lies to everybody and says it's about capping limits of blah blah blah, but didn't magically.
And I'm getting rid of my blue check mark as soon as Half Blackface comes out, because that's what I feel like people didn't understand. I lost I joke about this in Tallboy, I think, but I lost like 8 followers because they were like, blue check, and I was like, the blue, do you think I'm part of the Musk hive? Like, it's a pure, like, I was paying $3 before Musk for the longer videos and the tweet.
Same here,
and I like that. That.
But it's not. But the thing is, it's not the fans' fault, and it's not your fault. It's Elon Musk's fault.
But when I explain it to somebody,
he made those blue checks into loyalty badges,
right?
And unfortunately for you, there's a lot of people who like are proud to be fucking blue check loyalty.
No, I know.
That is so fucking weird. So now you got people assuming the worst of people when you shouldn't be. I don't know. Like I saw the blue check, I never was like, God damn.
But I will see sometimes in like you'll click on a post and I'll be like, oh God, there's like 9 blue checks in a row going like blacks are the real racists, and I'm like, good God.
Yeah, like because if you reply to something,
see like a run American flag blue check mark.
Yeah, when you reply to something, blue checks now get priority to go first. So like if you click on any tweet that goes viral, the underneath are just the blue check responses, and because it is those people who are super proud to be like these Elon Musk $11 a month stands, they're always the worst kind of person. Like it's never like, God damn, that was funny though. Like it's always the worst, least creative type of person. And it's like the prophecy came true of everyone that used to hate people having blue checks because it was classist and elitist and they're all jerks. And now it's actually become a self-fulfilling prophecy where that is most of the people who have them. So I get why people assume like the worst when they see a check, but also if you're following JL, you should know.
Yeah, I try to explain it to people. I'm like, first of all, how closely could you be watching me if you think I'm like, my boy is Elon Musk? Like, what are you talking about? So for me, it was like, I'm stubborn like this, where it's like, I wanted the longer videos and the tweet edits. And to be honest, knowing I had specials coming out, I was like, if Elon's playing some bullshit with prioritizing stuff, I've been shadow banned for 2 years under the good guy regime. So like, to me, it's not like I'm like, oh man, Twitter was so good to me before. It's a business for me. But the blue check, I was gonna get rid of it because I'm like, I'm not doing. I don't think it's a legitimate blue check. I'm not like, blue check. It's bullshit. I'm doing it for the stuff that it comes with. It
helps you with the algorithm,
Right. But when I had some of my, fans who are like completely barely fans, that should be my website, barely fans.
Hardly fans. Hardly fans.
When they said, dude, you should get rid of the blue check mark, it's a bad look. Then I was like, okay, well, no, now I'm not, because I don't need you, like you person who's watched like 4 videos of mine telling me what I need to do to win you over. Most people who are engaged with my stuff would never even think that I was doing this for some sort of like respect or like solidarity with Elon. But
but that's the other thing too, like not to go down that path again. I promise I'm trying to get to some news, but that's the other thing too, like online is really become about that sort of like the lowest level of involvement, and so they see a check and they just go through a checklist of like all the things you must be, because they're not going to read anything you said, they're not going to click on anything. And it's what sucks about it is like you can go viral on a Twitter and it can have no effect on making money. It can have no effect on where you want people. Like it can have no effect on an album, no effect on a podcast. This happens all the time with the podcast. Like there's people that are following me on Twitter that I know have never listened to or heard of our podcast.
Don't know.
And you can just tell by the shit they say to me, and I'm just like, yeah, well, that clearly I don't agree with that, and you don't know because you don't give a fuck. So I don't even. It's like you have to treat it like a completely different medium, which sucks because that is not the promise we were given, and when these things were created, and it's not how it used to be. It did not used to be like that. There was a time when the people on our Facebook were people that listen to our podcast.
Yes.
The people that follow me on Twitter knew about our show. Like it's just, they have done so much to keep that traffic to themselves as like this entity that is so insular, and just, if you want to go viral, you can go viral here and nowhere else with this bullshit.
Right.
They've done it. So I guess they've done such a good, quote unquote, bad job of it. It's real now. So a person sees your check mark and they're like, this is who this guy is. I saw a video today of this woman on a plane who said there was an imaginary person in the back and all this shit, and everybody was like, "Oh man, what's crazy? Da 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 da. What happened with this woman?" And so someone had a reply video, and it was a woman who was on the plane with her, and she was like, "This is the real story." And the first comment to her video was someone being like, "Wow, she's aged like 20 years in this video. She looks way different than before when she was on the plane." And every reply was correcting this person, like, "No, this isn't the same woman. She was a passenger on the plane." And then she goes, "Well, it was taking too long for her to get to that." And they said it's a 23-second video. Right. So, like,
did you even listen?
You just had to click play. You did, and wait 23 seconds, not hit play. And an hour later, she tell you 23 seconds in, you get all the information. That is the Twitter algorithm type of fan in a fucking nutshell. Mm-hmm. I couldn't be bothered to click on this, but I did want to give a horrible opinion as if I did.
Yeah, it's crazy. I have a joke that I'll share with you guys, but that I'm working on, where I basically I said, social media, I think, has made the average person worse, but I think it's also probably helped keep us away from dangerous big people. Like, and the idea, like, if podcasts and social media had existed for Hitler, he might have just been like a popular influencer for like white bros and, like, you know, mustache people. Like, he wouldn't have maybe needed to give huge speeches and start wars. He would have been like, "Oh, I can just spill my hate here, and the checks come in, and I get that boost, that serotonin boost from
and all you know this why? Because he might have gotten some people on TikTok. He might have got a couple viral videos, but no one's gonna stand for an hour screaming speech, because we don't do that anymore. We have our attention span is too short. Like, they get like 20 minutes into his like sick hell bullshit and be like, "All right, man, like, what else is there to do?" So
like, he would have had to throw in some stuff about how to woo women and stuff. Like, he couldn't just, he'd have to be a little more well-rounded. He couldn't just be blame the Jews. It would have to also be like, and if you want to get
diverse,
if you want to be a top tier Nazi and you want to get a high quality blonde German woman,
let me tell you how to do that. He'd be inviting high quality.
He'd be Adolf Tate.
Yeah. Hey, this is the other thing too, is like, I'm proud of you for starting a new podcast. I don't know the name yet, but I'm assuming it's gonna be, you know, a cool name that can actually, you know, go into the algorithm and you can type the whole thing and find it. Because Prick, for some reason, was never really like that.
It's like
iTunes was hating on Prick for some reason.
First time I signed up for it, they told me I couldn't. First episode in 2012, they're like, we did not pass the. Yeah. And I was like, well, righteous is not like Prick.
Right. I'm like, yeah, you got to listen to my homeboy's podcast, Righteous P ! Exclamation point. But I'm just glad that it sounds like you're not gonna go into the man versus woman podcast lane. So I just appreciate you for that, because I think that's the temptation right now that everyone's giving into, is just men versus women, everything. So good for you.
It's gonna be man versus everyone.
Yeah. That's a good title too. That's actually a good podcast. Man versus everyone. All right. Let's do some news real quick. All right. Speaking of Twitter stuff. Oh shit. Wait, actually, no. Before we even do news, I gotta say, I've seen people saying it on Twitter. Game Theory is not expected to get a season 3 on HBO. Everyone's been tagging me and stuff and whatever. Bo hasn't spoken on it, so I feel weird speaking on that. Because the source is Outkick Sports, and it's this guy that hates Bomani and has been kind of like you, and you guys can see it if you posted about it in the replies to your tweets. there's always going to be people showing up that are kind of like bots, or they're kind of like white supremacist leaning right wing people, and they all say stuff like Bomani sucks. He should have never had a show. I mean, fuck him. And it's this one dude, he cited as the source in the article, like he's the person they're citing as the source of, the show was always bad and no one liked it and it got canceled. So I don't know. The thing I've heard is with the merger and all that stuff, we may or may not be back, but it won't be, it's not like a renewal of like we'll be back next season or something. It's a one day we could be back, which, I'm not booking flights, if you know what I'm saying, but I haven't heard anything as definitive as that's it. The no more show, it won't be happening. So
right.
For people who don't know Outkick, basically if they were around to bring it back to the 30s again, they would have been rooting against Jesse Owens in Germany. Like that, they would have been like, his woke display of winning just to make Hitler look bad was a disgrace, and I'm embarrassed to be an American. Right,
and it's this one really small penis white dude specifically that if you go to their site, every article that's about Bomani is he wrote the article. Like it's a fucking weird obsession that he has.
It's not Clay Travis, is it?
No, it's some other dude. That's even worse, right? It's not even Clay Travis. Like, that's how bad it is. I can't even remember his name. And I'm not trying to be like funny and big time, y'all. Right. I really can't remember his name. I just remember like seeing it one day because my big thing season 1 was like, Bo, you know what we really need is some fucking hate. Like, I know you want some love. Everybody wants some love for the show. Good critics. Everything I've seen that works is because the wrong people hate it. And then that makes the right people go check it out. And we just need like somebody just inflammatory but super popular to be like, man, fuck Bomani, fuck that show. So we can, like our Jake Paul episode did really well because the right people were like, oh yeah, fuck Jake Paul. And then boom, all this press, all this coverage, right? And so that was when I would always Google searching for hate. Like every day I'm like, fuck man, nobody's hating on this shit, Bo, man. Something's not right. And then boom, this guy from Outkick, I saw a couple articles from him. I was like, oh, this fucking guy hates us. And Bo's like, yeah, that dude has some issues. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This isn't legit real hate because it's the same guy over. It's not picking up. It would be like Outkick reports, Awful Announcing picks up, Sports Illustrated puts out. It's like, oh, it's not a real news article. So that sucks.
And the one thing before we I think it must be both awful and great to be like a sports coverage site that's racist. Mm-hmm. Like, because in a weird way, it's like you never run it. It's like it's the greatest place to be. Like, if you're just looking to generate negative content, it's like, I guess this week we'll focus on football, basketball, track, MMA, boxing. Like, so it's like you're both like full of hate, but also like, man, we have so much content.
Dude, if you go to I never do this, but if you go to Outkick, I just went just now to see the first article is about Joe Biden's son. Like what? What's not sports at all? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is? Oh my god! It's just, oh man, these guys are amazing. Jason Whitlock had a show with them for a while. Like that's the kind of place this is. So yeah, that's the source. So I take it with a grain of salt, but because I think they want to put the nail in the coffin. And if you get enough people saying it, then it's like it is a nail in the coffin. But yeah, that's not. I was told basically like there's a chance we could be back, but it just. All this merger shit, they're just, and the writer strike, they're just canceling all kinds of shit right now, and we'll see. But all right, now we can do some news. We're gonna get into the games right away because I think JL has to get out here at 8. So give me a second to pull up the music, so we can get these motherfucking games in. Let's start with some fucking with black people though. Okay, we love to be fucked with, and it is Juneteenth the 2nd. So let's do it.
Fucking with black people. Fucking with black people. Fucking with black people. Fucking with black people.
All right, fucking with black people time. Let's get into it. Yvette Nicole Brown, one of our faves, she points out how 4 black women lost their positions in diversity, equity, and inclusion departments. She did it on Twitter. Someone I think was posting someone posted on Twitter like the headlines and the pictures of these women. And I'll show you their pictures real quick. Boom. And this is what it looks like. Disney Chief Diversity Officer Latondra Newton exits. Warner Brothers Discovery lays off Diversity Executive Karen Horn, another black woman. Netflix first head of inclusion Verna Myers to step down after 5 years. Wade Davis promoted. Film Academy's Executive VP of Impact Inclusion Janelle English exits organization. They're all black women. She says, in one day, 4 talented, smart black women lost their jobs or left on their own accord, in quotes, in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space. A day after affirmative action was gutted by the compromised and bought 6 GOP chosen justices, Supreme Court, hashtag This Is America. And she says, update, thanks to the 3 of them left on their own accord comments and DMs, but what we are not gonna do, black people, is act like we never left a performative position once we realize we aren't making the impact we hope to make. I'm not saying any of these women felt that way, but I have a hard time believing a couple of them didn't. We good? We should be good. Now stop playing on my page.
That's what I'm talking about.
I like how she read everybody for filth on the way out. But yeah, man, I just want to point out, we've been saying this shit for a minute on the show. The first thing to go with all these companies is this kind of shit, because it's always seen as like a luxury, not necessarily a tip pole of a company. And so
it's never a top priority.
Yeah.
And, it's one of those things to where this is one reason why even at my job, they reach out for diversity, inclusion, like they have committees and things like that. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Don't want to do it. I'm not working for free. You're not giving me.
Oh, you mean to you as an employee to be on one of these committees?
Yes,
okay,
like they reach out to quote unquote everybody.
Right.
But it's more of we want diversity.
Yeah.
And so I give them credit. They've been doing things, but for somebody like me who's been around.
But see, to me, it's different in that. Cause like that's asking, like, I'm not saying you should do it, but I'm saying like these people got hired. This is their only job.
Yes.
And so it's like the fact that when the times get tough or when you need to get back into black or whatever, it's like first thing to go. Fuck all that diversity bullshit. The George Floyd economy, the George Floyd economic bump that people got, that shit is motherfucking over. Back to basics, and basics means y'all can go. And I think on the heels of like the Supreme Court's affirmative action ruling, a lot of companies feel like the coast is clear, man. Like, what the fuck you gonna do? Take me to court? Go talk to them motherfuckers?
That's the thing I think that's telling, is that you would think intuitively, if pipelines at schools, elite institutions like that will be diminished, you might want somebody with an expertise who will find the diamonds in the rough. If your numbers aren't as big out of Yale, Harvard in the next few years, like you can't just make that easy choice of like, oh yes, we built a relationship. If you have to go into some lower ranked schools or some other schools, you're going to want somebody who can find the talent
right
in other places. So it's like, it's almost doubly insulting. Kind of, it's like, oh yeah, we abandoned ship. Like it's not even
You're just not doing this anymore.
Right. And you're telling the truth on yourself. You never really cared.
Right.
And also you also telling me truthfully that you never planned on giving them any power.
Exactly.
Not trying to be funny, because if you planned on giving them any power, if you really plan on listening to them and implementing the ideas that they were going to come up with, that were probably going to bristle people in the room, you would have kept them there and was like, no, we're going to keep you here.
Most companies see diversity and inclusion people as people to be in the room when you make the decision you were going to make already. And then you go, well, they were in the room. So, I mean, you guys are saying we did something wrong, but why would the person we pay to say nothing, why would they have let us do this? You know, it's like, because they don't have power. And they're the first motherfucker to go when the shit hits the fan. But the most important thing we can take from this is, I've been right about all of it. We've been right about all of it. Oh, yes. Yes. That's really what it's all about. 0 to 100, Karen.
This gets a 100. Also because it's Black women, and what's so funny is a lot of times in these positions they don't put Black men in these positions. Like Black men do get these positions, but not at the rate of Black women. You know, because then they put Black women in there because they feel like you're not trying to find, you're just an angry bitch coming in here complaining. If it was a Black man, we quote unquote would have to respect him, and so we don't want certain people in these positions, somebody we have to respect. So we'd rather get a woman in here somehow we can actually push and kick out the door. And because, not trying to be funny, in general, people don't give a fuck about Black women. You don't see the same outrage you would as if it was Black men in these positions. Maybe that's me looking at it with my third eye open, but that's how I feel.
Well, it's interesting because I think Black women are so much more accomplished academically and professionally in a lot of these areas. To me, it makes sense that they were the ones that got the jobs. You know, we talk about that all the time. So it would seem like you probably have more qualified Black women to do a position like this in corporate America anyway. But yeah, I mean, I think people do care, but yeah, I mean, I don't know how you measure, you know, how much more they would care if it was Black dudes. And I'm sure there's a contingent of people that would care more if it was Black dudes.
Correct.
So, JL, what would you give it 0 to 100?
I wouldn't give it 100 because it's like 4 different companies. You know what I mean? It's not like one company just was like, all of you get out. So I'll say a 50 because it feels wrong. But it's, if it was one company doing it, it'd be 100. But I'd say, you know, some of that, I don't think it was coordinated. Coordinated would obviously raise it higher, but it's not good.
I give it 100 because it's so many different companies and it happened on the same day. It feels like an industry statement of like, listen, the motherfucking third quarter earnings came in. You bitches gotta go. Like, y'all making it too hot around. We gotta pay people more because of y'all. We gotta fucking like do more research when we hire people. We gotta fucking have these extra meetings about shit we don't care about at the top, you know. And so it's almost like in its lack of coordination, it makes a bigger statement than if it was fair point. Coordinated. So it bothers me tremendously. And also, like, we fucking called this shit, man. Like, this is why I said, get your check in the George Floyd economy. I don't care who you are. If you if you have any windfall from just white people's guilt, just take it, because it's
cash it.
It's an exhaustible fuel. It is going to run out, and much quicker than you think, much quicker than you have any right to. And yeah, you got to do it. It doesn't make sense what they're doing. They were just giving away money for no fucking reason. But fuck it, man, take it. I legitimately feel like that's what happened with your girl from TikTok, Sarah Cooper. They were just like, we have to make someone feel good, and they're just like, fuck it, lip sync. I think you need to get that bread. I'm not knocking a single person that took that fucking bread, because this is what it's like when it dries up, and it fucking sucks. All right. In the interest of time, I would like to play Guess the Race with JL Cauvin. Okay. So I'm gonna skip the next fucking with black people and go into some Guess the Race. Let me get to that right clip. There we go. All right.
This time for Guess the Race. This time for Guess the Race. This time for Guess the Race. This time It's time for Guess the Race.
All right, guess the race time. You should know the rules by now. Come on. A man inhaling balloons at a wheel found with 48,000 nitrous oxide canisters. What? A man inhaling balloons at will found at the wheel of a car. Okay, this is from Liverpool. Okay, this is not America, from the UK. It says here, a man has been jailed after he was spotted inhaling a blue balloon while driving by a police officer. When Keaton Ormerod Beck, 25, was pulled over by the unmarked police car, officers spotted a large quantity of spent nitrous oxide canisters littered throughout the vehicle. They decided to search the vehicle and they discovered a quantity of cannabis resin. The resin was estimated to have a street value of up to 6,000 pounds.
Goddamn. And
Amara Beck was arrested at the scene. Later in the day, officers visited an address at a storage unit linked to Amara Beck. When they found packaging for 2 kilos of cocaine, thousands of pounds of cash, drug paraphernalia, and 48,000 nitrous oxide canisters with an estimated wholesale value of 61,400 pounds. He was then charged with being concerned in the supply of Class B drugs.
Being concerned?
It's different over there.
Okay, I was like, what is happening? It don't sound like he was concerned at all. That was the problem. He was not concerned.
He was very worried about the supply of drugs. Being concerned in the supply of Class A drugs, cocaine, possession with intent to supply of Class B drugs, cannabis, possession with intent to supply of Class C drugs, nitrous oxide, and not being in proper control of a vehicle.
Damn, he had all the letters.
He pled guilty to all charges in Crown Court today and was jailed for 5 years and 4 months. Following the sentences, Detective Sergeant Stuart Needham of the CID proactive team said Amara Beck showed no regard for the law and put other road users at serious risk.
You don't say.
Thankfully, our officers PC Swash and PC Davies stopped him in his.
Sound like pirate names.
PC. It's probably like police something, you know. Stands for politically correct. The officers are very politically correct over
woke
yeah.
Police.
Do you know why I pulled you over? Because trans people are people. Okay, get out the car. I pulled you over because Black Lives Matter. That's why. But yeah, so all right, guess the race of Mr. Keaton Amara Beck.
White.
Yeah, it's going white, JL.
White.
All right. A devil bitch in the chat is saying PC stands for pussy cuck. What? Not. She said it stands for police constable. All right. Wax white and whippets. Oh my. I'm going white, bloke. White. Top white boy, Rick. That white powder, white. Mr. Peas and Food, white man, white. The correct answer. Everybody said the same thing. And everybody, you got it correct. He was white. And that's him there. Mm-hmm.
Looking like a Ted Lasso actor.
Do you want the smoke, bro?
The answer is yes.
He looked like one of them hippie dudes that would be going out to a bar or some shit. Give me a Bud Light, man.
Man, I never heard of doing nitrous oxide the way he was doing it.
He was high.
Also, it's weird. It's weird.
Isn't that what the dentist did in
yes, in Little Shop of Horrors? But it's also weird that he had access to so many types of drugs, and his drug of choice was nitrous oxide. That seems like the most cumbersome one of the drugs. Like, oh no, that was weird.
I got this weed. I got this little pouch of weed, or I can drag a tank like I'm fucking No Country for Old Men every time I want to get high.
Grandma.
At least it wasn't helium. You know, that would have been awkward. Why are you pulling me over, officer? You know.
I know you
an Atlanta mother,
I was just saying, I know you guys are big fans of Little Shop of Horrors, and that is such a strange movie. I love it, and I watched it like a year ago, most recently. But that is a crazy movie. Like
it is.
Steve Martin is like a hardcore domestic abuse,
domestic violence. Yes,
like evil, and she's like, I'm sorry. Like, and it's like played for like super dark laughs.
Yes. And then he gets like murdered, like, you know, like our hero is a murderer.
They were remaking that, and I was annoyed. Even though the people that were going to be in it are good, it was supposed to be Chris Evans as the dentist, and and Scarlett Johansson as Audrey, and Taron Egerton as Seymour because he can sing. But I was like, see, that's why I liked Rick Moranis. He was a real nerd. Like, he's a geeky dude. Taron Egerton, they'd be doing the thing like, he's like jacked and handsome and can sing, but like, we've put glasses on him. Look at the transformation.
You got to have that personality where once you cross that line, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this person is crossing that line.
And Rick Moranis even sang nerdy.
Yes.
Like I don't know how, but he like captured like the nerdiness in the singing. It wasn't that he was the best singer. It was that
a movie. When I looked at that again, when I watched that movie, I said, please don't let this be one of those ones where I love it, and then I see like the critics gave it like 40%, but it was like 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. I was like, hell yeah.
It's amazing. And they changed the ending from the like theater version, which is super darker.
The theater is darker. The theater is dark. We saw it like right before the pandemic. It's dark. I'm guessing they might have done the dark, like when they remade it, the dark version. But the dark version was dark.
Yeah, I don't think they should. Just leave it alone. It's fine.
No, and you're not gonna get a better Seymour. Miss see the plant.
Who's gonna be the plant? Who's gonna be the plant in this one?
You can't duplicate that
in the remake.
I forget. I feel like I had. Oh no, I don't. I may be making this up, Billy Porter, but I may be making that up. Which you need that bass. The guy from the Four Tops was amazing.
Yeah, perfect. You're not gonna beat him. I think maybe Coleman Domingo could do it, but you're not gonna beat.
Can he sing?
You're not gonna beat that. I don't know. I just know he's a stage.
Yeah. You need somebody.
You're not gonna beat it. Plus, them motherfucking songs was jam.
Sorry to go off on that, but I sometimes hear you guys talk like every once in a blue moon, the Little Shop of Horrors will come up. I was like, ooh.
The guy still look like plant food to me. The guy still look like plant food to me. It's so good. All right. Atlanta mother, 34, is arrested for shooting her 17-year-old son during an argument about a video game console.
Well, goddamn. Somebody turned that Nintendo off permanently, didn't they?
An Atlanta mother has been
arrested blow off this cartridge and then blow your brains out. Sorry.
She put her hand on top of the TV to see if it was warm.
Yes. I'm going to blow the dust off. I'm going to dust your ass.
Jaquana Butler, 34, was at her home in the southwest of the city on Thursday evening when she and the teenager began arguing. She brought out a gun. Police said she shot her son multiple times.
Oh, she was fed up with that child.
Officers were called to the house near the home made famous in the Tyler Perry Medea's film series.
Okay.
Around 10:20 p.m. That's an interesting note to put in the article. The teenager was taken to Grady Memorial Hospital. His condition is not known. Butler was arrested and has been charged with aggravated assault, reckless conduct, and cruelty to children. She is well known to police with records dating back to 2010. Known for such hits as abandonment of a child, forgery, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, reckless conduct, aggravated battery, armed robbery, false report of a crime, and weapon possession. And in 2012, she was charged with child abuse. 2019, she was found guilty as a first offender. 2019, she was found guilty as a first offender of 4 counts of second-degree child cruelty by causing excessive physical or mental pain, and battery family violence in a 2016 incident. How would she even have this kid?
Yes.
What?
I'm surprised I didn't take custody of the child.
She was sentenced to 6 years of probation at that time. And in April this year, she was charged with simple battery. And then until this. Guess the race, Karen.
What was her name? I'm going to go
Her
white.
name is Jaquana Butler. Karen's going white.
No, she said white. She said white.
Started with white, but still allowed to change. Okay.
Black. I was like, white.
Karen changed to black for some reason.
Let me hear her name.
What about you, JL?
Black, only because the name, because to be honest, based on some books I've read, and obviously there's a lot of good people in the child services. It's a tough job. You don't want to break up families. But to me, when multiple criminal charges, like I would have almost guessed if the name had been more neutral, white, because I'd be like, that the kid would have been, the family would have been broken up sooner, it feels like.
Right. All right, chat room, black. Jaquana is orange. I mean, the new black. Precious Mama had another one. The correct answer is black.
That's scary, though, that story. It's like it got all the way up to shooting her son.
Story, right? It's like she shot the child. The child should never be back in her custody.
Yeah, well, this is the time she shot. This is the time she shot the child. This is the first time she shot the child, but she clearly has abused this kid before, or some kid in her custody before. And yeah, I'm with y'all in that they kept giving her a kid, which feels like a white thing.
Right. That's why I said this.
Like that. White. That does feel white. The fucking like. Look, sometimes kid got to get hit. We can trust her. She said she ain't gonna do it again. But yeah, no word if she called the video game console a Nintendo. So we don't know. All right, let's go to the bonus round and we'll wrap this thing up. Oh wait, y'all are 2 for 2, right? Okay, y'all are 2 for 2. That means y'all get the more racist version.
Why? I ain't racist. How can I be racist about anybody or anything in my life? How can I?
Call them niggas. Just call them niggas.
It's time to get
gold teeth, gold chain wearing, fried chicken and biscuit eating, monkey, pink baboon, big guy, fast running, high jumping, spear chucking, 360-degree basketball.
A homeowner posted a video of a pizza delivery guy complaining about a 25% tip on a $20 order. A woman in Texas shared a doorbell camera interaction between herself and a pizza delivery man who was so dissatisfied with his $5 tip that he cursed her out on a video posted to her TikTok. Lacey Percival, we're guessing the race of the pizza person, not her.
Okay.
Asked, so how much should I be tipping for a $20 pie, implying that she had given her driver a 25% tip on the $20 order. In the video captured by the family's Yvette camera, a woman answers the door as her dog runs out to greet the driver. Let me see if I can play the audio for y'all so y'all can hear it and make your informed decision.
I just want to say it's a nice house for a $5 tip.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. I just want to say it's a nice house for a $5 tip.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
And that was a fuck you at the end when she said you're welcome. Online viewers of the video, which Percival posted on her TikTok account, were overwhelmingly supportive of the tipper in this case. Tipping is out of control. 5 on 20 is more than enough for one user. Others encouraged Percival to get in touch with DoorDash, the service she had used for the delivery. Percival said she did contact the delivery company, which she also clarified she pays a monthly fee for, in addition to the extra service fees. And you know that shit don't go to the drivers. Percival added that her husband was extremely upset about what the delivery man had said to his wife and noted the driver could simply decline the order. Other online commenters lamented the exorbitantly high cost of having anything delivered these days and how delivery fees are likely driving down tip numbers. All right, guess the race of the driver.
Oh, white.
All right, JL.
White, and that's, I mean, $5 on is perfectly, like, to me, I'm more of a, I feel like $5 is kind of the minimum for somebody, but it's also like on a $20 order, perfectly legit.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
That's a strange. Like,
it was also weird that he decided it was because of the kind of house she had. Like it was like it didn't even. It seemed like he was cool with it. Then he showed up and was like, "Oh, this bitch got 2-car garage," and then he just fucking lost it.
It makes me wonder if things like I bet you know, if I were a millionaire celebrity, I tip well anyway, but there's probably pressure to be like, all right, my meal was $150. I'll leave $100 because like that's. I can only go two ways here. Oh, I'm a great tipper or I'm a cheap celebrity piece of shit. But like a house alone getting that treatment. Like if I brought a pizza to Charles Barkley, I'd be like $5. Or I thought it was going to be like, oh, was it like a big rainstorm or something? Because I remember the salad place near where I lived in Manhattan, I once asked, out of curiosity, like they're like, oh, business picks up when like the blizzards come. And I remember saying to the guy, like the manager, I was like, how are the tips? And they're like, basically people just do the automatic like $2 tip. And I'm like, they just, so there's plenty of people who suck at tipping and don't even adjust for circumstances. But this is a normal day for a $20 order. That's absurd.
Right. And I'll just add two more quick things. One, especially with how much like weird tipping there is now, where it's like you go to like Ross Dress for Less or some shit and you buy some pants and then like on your checkout it's like, you want to tip 20%? It's like, what the who decided this was part of this transaction? This tipping should come nowhere near this shit. I just bought goods and services. You get paid what you're supposed to get paid and leave me out of it, you know? And if that money even goes to you.
Right. A lot of times, depending on the situation, a lot of times they don't see that money.
The second thing I want to bring up quickly was that the South Park creators, who I know liberal people hate for some reason now. I don't know. I still fuck with them. But Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they bought a restaurant, Casa Bonita, and they set the wages to $30 an hour and then ban tipping. And I believe in that so fucking hard. That is what I think the solution to all this shit should be. You just pay people a living wage. If you have to raise your food prices $1 a dish or whatever, fuck, just do that. Leave all this tipping bullshit out, because you got petty power tripping motherfuckers that come in. You got waiters that aren't being taken care of in just life. Like they have no health care. They're working crazy fucking hours and at the whim of these fucking psychopaths that we have out here calling us a fucking society, and that get the biggest fucking ego boost when they can be petty and cruel and be like, my coffee cup, I saw the bottom of it, so I'm not tipping. Like, suck my dick. You have no power in your real life, and you're coming in a restaurant and taking it out.
Restaurant story is, though, my favorite restaurant story, it's almost up there with Bullet Ball for me, that I want it to be like an annual tradition, is Rod's boss sells him out to customers. Oh, I always laugh.
Yeah. Motherfucker. That motherfucker. Oh, God. I think that was the day I fell and cut my arms up too. Like, it was a bad fucking day, and this dude goes out. I got it. I'm gonna talk to him. I see the fucking cuck over there. You know, it's his fault, really. Like, suck my dick. God, I hate it. Food stuff. Anyway, he was white. Yeah, we went way over time with that. He was white. Y'all had some good guesses in the chat. Entitled white needs to get a life. Papa John, that's my favorite one. White as her doorbell button, quite the service. So yeah, most of y'all said white, and y'all got it right. Let me give you your applause. And that's the guy there.
Yeah, this is an even better reason to just be like, leave it at the door. Put it on the ground.
For a $5 tip.
It's a great ad for doorbell cameras and why I don't talk to the people.
Me either. I remember and that's why I got it for when COVID first broke out, and there was nothing worse than somebody standing there and I would hit the thing, go, boop. I said it's contactless. Drop it. I don't want to talk to you.
JL, give us like 2 more minutes so we can do sword ratchet, and I'm gonna get you out of here, man. Here, I mean, if you got 2 more minutes.
Yeah, please. No, we're good. We're good. Thank you.
Of course, most of that 2 minutes is a sound effect.
That's a minute and a half right there. That's like giving you 2 minutes.
All right. A man was stabbed with a samurai sword after attacking a Seattle homeowner with a pitchfork.
Oh shit! Was you on the farm? What is this?
I just pictured the Star Trek music playing as they were battling, you know. A pitchfork, dude?
Did he get mad and go to the closet, be like, my sword, or do I want to start a riot?
A man was arrested Sunday after attacking. I'm sorry, I just got that.
Are you oh God, somebody got it.
He's like, where's the torches? We got a Frankenstein to get.
Yes, who the fuck comes out with a pitchfork? It makes no sense.
Yeah. It's Seattle too. Like it's not like here in the farm.
This is not a farmland.
Oh man. All right. So he was attacking the homeowner with a pitchfork during a burglary around 1:30 p.m. on Sunday. Officers responded to a report of a burglary. They found a homeowner with a sword and injuries, and another man with a stab wound to the torso. I feel like if you were the one with the pitchfork, you should have won. That's just my feelings. Now I don't know enough about swords and how this man was trained, but to me, pitchfork is more of a weapon than you should have the reach.
Yeah.
You got stabbed in the gut, bro?
I mean, you got the weapon that the group go out with. I don't understand.
Yeah. So yeah, according to police, the man had gone into the home when no one was there. As the 71-year-old homeowner arrived home, he noticed items were not where they were supposed to be, and a kitchen window had been shattered. Then the homeowner found a man standing in his living room. The pair fought, when at one point the man held the homeowner to the floor and attempted to stab him with a pitchfork. The homeowner, 71, was able to get away, running to his room to get a gun. The man chased after the homeowner, tackled him as he attempted to take his gun. Oh, this shit turned into like some fucking Raising Arizona shit.
Don't leave old people. That's a strong ass old man. He be like, look, I've been fit. I'm not feeble.
He's like, it's a reason I made the 71 whippersnapper.
Come on.
When the homeowner attempted to shoot the man, the gun jammed.
Oh, he better be glad it jammed because he was going to fuck him up.
Like, someone put this in a TV show. I want to see the Righteous Gemstones act this out. He grabbed a samurai sword and stabbed the man. After stabbing the man ran outside and was later arrested by police. The homeowner suffered non-life-threatening injuries to his face and torso. The 61-year-old man was transferred with non-life-threatening samurai sword stab wound. That feels very improbable.
Life-threatening stab.
61 stabbed through the gut with a samurai sword, but non-life-threatening. I feel like falling at 61 is life-threatening.
Come on.
They're built different in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Yes,
the greatest generation for real. This motherfucker, because I'll tell you right now, if you stab me at 44, it's life-threatening. It's like, I feel threatened already. I have a prominent gut to stab, and I still would be like, I think I'm gonna die. So yeah, he will be booked into the King County Jail, charged with burglary. After all of that, so all right, JL, tell everybody about Tall Boy and where to find it and all that good stuff.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, as always. Tall Boy. You can find it basically everywhere you stream except Spotify. Me and Taylor Swift, we don't put our stuff there. They don't pay enough. But anywhere else, you can stream it, download it. If you got some spare money, buy it. Leave a nice, if you stream it and like it, leave a nice review on whatever your preferred site is, Amazon, iTunes, whatever. And then Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, this Thursday, July 6th, it goes live on my YouTube. So if you're listening to this afterwards, boom, it's a clean hour. It's not clean like there's bad language, but it's like a tight hour. And I'm very proud of it. And it also is not to. It is on Tidal. I can tell you because somebody told me they shared a link to it on Tidal, so I know it's on Tidal.
Okay. Okay.
I never know exactly when exactly, but somebody shared that they were listening on Tidal, so it's got to be there. And basically, you know, for the long inside comedy story at the top of the show, you know, I rarely ever plead kind of like support this or plead, but this is almost like the struggles with half blackface. This was like my personal do it myself response to that. So whereas half blackface is, you know, the Godfather as far as like my work is concerned, I'm proud of this one, and this one was like a do it yourself thing, and you know, kind of a slight middle finger. You know, if this does well, it just is a nice wholesome middle finger to, you know, to the people who screwed me up on the other one.
Oh, check out the special. We watched it a while ago. I'm a Patreon subscriber for JL. So like behind the paywall, we got to glimpse it early, and you know, sat down, put it on the big TV. You know, everybody's got these smart TVs and shit. Put it on the big TV and watch that shit like you're supposed to watch, like, you know, HBO Saturday night special or whatever. And it was funny as hell, man. I'm looking forward to eventually seeing half blackface one day. One day. Fingers crossed. Who would have thought the other two would be gone before half blackface made it to the
Oh, we didn't get
Game theory is over and half blackface is still not out. What the fuck is happening? Oh man.
Man, when you shared that article about the other two, that hurt. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's like I knew you would see it, and I wanted you to feel the pain I felt every time you said something black wasn't good enough. And I was like, finally. You know, I'm not even a Ted Lasso fan like that, and I was like, now he should feel some of this pain that everyone feels when he says Ted Lasso is trash or whatever. How about your favorite show? What do the HBO execs think about that? The same thing they think about everything good.
And to see the pictures of the two main characters and then Bad Bunny, the boyfriend, and I was just like, they're so good. They were hitting their peak. I mean, to be fair, if this is how it ends, like they did end it pretty well. But
also though, it just sucks because it's not because of what was happening in front of the cameras. It's the like producers and people behind the scenes apparently that are accused of being like dicks. And so it just
this sucks. Is if you are not, I gotta say now, I don't know the extent of it, but I think we got too many Ted Lassos in Schitt's Creek where it's all kumbaya. Sometimes comedy takes an edge. It takes an edge to make great comedy. And I think the other two, I could be wrong, but I feel like
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Take for the podcast. I'll be
this is the hottest take.
A lot of soft people in comedy right now.
I agree.
Feelings hurt.
I definitely agree that the comedy game is kind of soft, like the creative space is soft, just having worked in it. But I also will smack the shit out of somebody if they fucking talk to me like that. So I don't know. I'm on a ballot. Like whenever I read one of these exposés about like the behind the scenes of this company, I'm always like, why didn't someone slap the shit out this dude? Nothing's worth this. You know what I mean? But that's just my feelings. I'm not telling people go slap anybody, and I'm not knocking the victims. But yeah, we had many a talk at Game Theory where I'm like, yeah, they talk to me like that, it's gonna be a problem. So just talk to me nice. You can say anything you want. You can say my shit wasn't good, I need to do better. You start calling me on my name or yelling at me, I don't do that.
I don't do that. And guess what? We do have an HR department, bitch.
Yes. So anyway, check out Southside. Also streaming on HBO Max, and to me, just as funny, if not funnier, and Black. You know. So all right, guys, we'll talk to you. Tomorrow's guest will be Simeon Goodson, so we'll be with him tomorrow. So look out for that. And until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
JL.
JL.
Have a good one, bro.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.